Do you want to know what makes the Stranger Piston frame so strong? Today we're going to do an explain and review on the Conor Keaton signature Stranger Piston frame. Like always, we want you to hang tight because throughout the video we're going to tell you how to win a bunch of free stuff from our bike shop, and as well as win a free bicycle. We're going to tell you all the specs about this frame, and we're going to tell you where you guys can buy this frame. So if you're not familiar with Connor Keaton, he's one of the new up-and-coming riders. He's from Michigan, and he's been absolutely slaying the street scene. He's a really tech rider, and he also does a lot of stuff for TCU. If you're not familiar with that, then definitely look up the Come Up BMX and see what he kind of does. He helps out posting videos and helping promote BMX. But he does a lot of cool things, from that to just going to jams, kind of just supporting the local shops and just creating a cool vibe and a cool scene for everybody. But yeah, definitely check him out if you don't know who he is. You can check him out on YouTube, which you guys are on, or you can check him out on Instagram as well. But let's talk a little bit about this frame and what makes this frame so strong. Two big things that I see that make this thing strong are probably the front gussets and the rear dropouts. But before we go into that, let's talk a little bit about the geometry and stuff like that, and I'll tell you why it's strong. Let's start off like on the front end. The front end is 75.5 head tube, and the way they come up with the geometry is basically vertical is, or actually let me see. They, actually like flat is 0 degrees, and as you tilt it, it changes the degrees to how steep the head tube is, and that's all based off of the size tire and whatnot. But the angle of the tube is going to create the bike to be steeper, not steeper. So this head tube is at a 75.5 head tube angle. So traditionally a lot of us were riding like 73 head tubes back in the day. Now things have changed. People have been wanting to do nose manuals and stuff like that, which he's kind of one of those guys. So at 75.5, it's kind of a steep head tube. So that allows him to do nose manuals, toothpick grinds, hangover toothpicks, anything like on your front end. It's going to steepen it up, make it more responsive for that. Another thing is that this has an integrated head tube. So what that means is that you can put an integrated headset, any of the headsets on our website you can put into this frame, and what those are pretty much a sealed headset bearing, and it actually makes your bar spin. Back in the day when we used to ride, we used to have a threaded headset and the thing would always come loose. But long story short, throughout a bunch of innovations through geniuses in BMX and other sports revolving around like bicycles, they've actually created a headset that was designed by like a road biker. And how it does it, or actually what it does is it compresses the bearings in here without having any gap or any space or anywhere for the bearings or the headset to go. And it just makes it super tight. You basically tighten it up once and you're done. So super cool, makes it really easy for you guys, makes it really easy for mechanics here. A lot of frame manufacturers, it's easier to machine, it's easier for the head tube to last longer, so you can really thin it out without having to have a lot of reinforced material around it, and obviously lighten up the frame. So definitely a cool invention. The standover height is a 9-inch standover, so the reason or the actual sizing of it's usually from the bottom bracket to the top of the top tube. So it's 9 inches from here to here. Traditionally, it's been somewhere around 8.5. Standovers. So some of the guys like to run a little bit taller seat posts, but with those low slung frames that a lot of people are making, a lot of those park riders that look, to me, I don't know, kind of look gross with it super low. But it made it really hard to have a tall seat post because the top tube was so low. It made the seat post look like a super long pipe sticking out. Kind of made the frames look really crappy. So raising the standover height makes that a lot more aesthetically pleasing, so it doesn't look so weird or it doesn't look like you have a super long seat post. There's some other frames out there that are about 10 inches tall, and those ones are a little bit taller. But when it's going that tall, it makes it a little bit harder for like tail whips, stuff like that. So you kind of want to play with that, see what you like, see how tall you are. If you're a super tall guy, you probably want a taller standover rather than like a low slung top tube. I've had a frame in the past, and the bike absolutely rode amazing. Front to end, everything was amazing, but it was very, very hard for me to do bar spins because it was a low slung top tube. I'm about 6'1", 6'2", so even with the post jacked up all the way, the seat was just way, way low. I'm not Eddie Cleveland. I couldn't just do bus drivers, and I don't really like to do them that way. I like to just, pinch and toss them. So it made it real difficult for that trick specifically. So if you like bar spins or something like that, maybe think about running a taller standover height. So that helps out a lot with the bar spins. So definitely try that out. If you're a beginner or anything like that, there's no perfect frame. To be honest with you, you're gonna go through a lot of stuff. You are a beginner, you haven't tried anything like that, so go out there and try stuff. It's fun to try different things. Yeah, you can complain about how much things are, and I can't afford that, Go get a job, go collect cans, go do some yard work, stuff like that. Stop posting those comments on Instagram, stuff like that. Like, everybody knows that, the pitter patter, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. Like, it's BS, dude. Go out, work for your stuff, help contribute to what these guys are doing. It takes a lot of money, a lot of effort to make these frames. So they're working hard to make them, so you gotta work hard to buy them. So definitely save up, spend your money on BMX. Try a bunch of things out, because that's kind of the part of BMX. It's kind of learning and figuring things out, and it's not gonna come easy. It's gonna be hard. If it wasn't hard, everybody would do it. So think outside the box. Don't focus on the negative. Focus on like the positive and going, hey, you know what? It's cool because I get to try a bunch of things, and these things are very good quality. So you can buy something at full price. You could ride it for a little while and then sell it for just a little fraction of the price that lower than what you actually bought it for. So then you only put in $80 or something like that and buy a new frame, $100, $150, which that's not too far to save up. So think outside the box. Think of other ways that you can afford trying different things. If you try something out and you don't like it in a week or two, hey, you rented it for $80. Just think of it like that. So just keep trying things out. You're a beginner. I'm a beginner back in the day, and I've spent thousands of dollars before I actually found out what I really, really like. And from then till now, I've gone through so much stuff, spent so much money on BMX, and I wouldn't be happier doing a different solution or complaining about stuff. I'm actually happy that I spent a lot of money because I got to try a lot of things. So looking at the positive things, you got to try a bunch of different things. You got to see what really works, and that's what's going to help you in the long run, is trying out what you think, because that's going to make you feel positive. So try out different top tube heights and see what you like. Another thing is on the geometry. It used to have a 13.8 or 13.25 rear end. Now it has a super short rear end, which is a 12.8. And that is actually from the center here to the center of the dropout here is going to be 12.8 inches. That's how you measure the chainstay, and you see what length it is. The shorter it is, the easier it's going to be to manual. The longer it is, the harder it's going to be to manual. But if you're jumping big jumps and stuff like that, you're a trail dog, you're going to loop out on a 12.8 rear end rather than having a 13.25 or a 13.5 inch rear end. Back when we used to ride, 14.25 was super, super short. Even the 13.75, when that came out, it like blew our mind. It was like, whoa, that thing's so short, you're gonna loop out of it. And now it's even smaller. And that helps you out with like ice pick grinds, ice hopovers, ice 180s, stuff like that. Very, very cool design, and just very, very cool dimensions on that. So that makes it super, super cool. Another thing is that the seat tube angle. This one's very, very relaxed. A lot of people don't really know about seat tube angles or anything like that, so I'm gonna kind of go into it a little bit more than most of the time I do. But seat tube angles, originally they were about a 71 seat tube angle, and I think when I started riding it was like the bar spins were like the thing that was really hard to do. And I played around with a bunch of frames, tried a bunch of things out. A lot of them were 70 to 71, and what I noticed is that seat tube angle actually changes a lot of things on your frame. So you got to think about it like this: if the seat tube angle is 70 degrees, it's going to be pitched way back like this. And if you have a 27.5 front end, which this frame is, it's going to actually bring the whole front end a little bit closer this way. So even though you have 27.5 front end, it's actually going to be slightly smaller just because that 1 degree of change. Now, if you have something super steep, which is like a 73, it's going to kick it this way, which actually pushes this whole tube that way. So then your front end is actually a little bit longer. So if you're wondering why like a certain frame feels shorter than others, it's probably because of the seat tube. Because when you measure the top tube, it's from the center here to the center here. So think about that when you're playing with it. Like I was saying before, if it has a relaxed seat tube, it's gonna kick it back a lot more. So what it means is that when you're gonna do a bar spin, you have to lean back farther in order to throw the bars or to pinch it. So back when I was riding, those were the popular sizes, and a frame that was called the General Lee. It had that one in the fueler. It had a 73 seat tube angle, which was like crazy far forward. And I really liked that frame because it felt like I could pinch and I could do bar spins easier. And it definitely did help, and it made the bike feel really nice. So I wish more companies would do like a 73 seat tube angle, because I don't know, I think that would be awesome in a frame. But besides that, this one comes with the 70 seat tube angle. It's pushed back a little bit more. I'm not too sure why he wanted to do it that way, but I mean, it's his frame, so I mean, more power to him. So super cool. Like I said, this top tube is a 27.5 inch top tube. So like I said, from center to here to center here, it's gonna make this top tube 27.5 inches. On the, let me see, what else can I say? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as the geometry. I think I hit everything. Pretty much, yeah, everything's pretty dialed. This one has an integrated head tube. It also has a mid-bottom bracket. This bottom bracket fits pretty much any crankset that we sell on our website. If you're riding a frame that doesn't have a mid-bottom bracket, you're probably riding an introductory bike, or you're probably riding something that's super old, or something that just nobody wants, because the mid-bottom bracket is definitely the norm. It's what fits pretty much everybody's crank system. The inner center bearing is a little bit different based on the cranks. So you could have a mid-bottom bracket with the 19, 22, or 24 millimeter spindle size. So you have to buy the correct spindle size for your actual cranks. So don't think you can just go out and buy a mid-bottom bracket and it fits everything, because it doesn't. Make sure you figure out what size cranks you have, or as far as the spindle size on your cranks, not your actual size. It's not the 175 millimeter, 165 or 180 size. It's the actual other size, which is 19, 22, and 24 millimeter spindle size. So that's the spindle that runs to the cranks that actually fits those bearings. So another cool thing that I noticed is that it has a built-in seat clamp. A lot of companies are doing built-in seat clamps. I think this is super dope. Back in the day, we used to drill holes right here, a hole right here through the seat post, and we used to put a nut and bolt through there because we didn't like the seat bolt clamp. We would cut it off actually just like this and cut it at an angle so that we saved a lot of weight, and we actually got even closer than this on the welds. But I don't know, it might be cool if a company does that one of these days. Just drills a hole, makes a cool bolt, and I don't know, saves us some weight. Maybe there's a guide or something to drill your seat post or something. But no, that's very cool. Let me see. The bottom bracket's machined down, lots in the center. Main reason is because this makes it a little bit lighter. It just causes it to shave down some weight and to lighten up this actual bearing piece right here, or this housing for the bearings. Another thing is that some of the guys, they like this style because when they do dirt dusters or anything like that, it actually locks into the rail onto that bottom bracket. So that's another cool feature. A lot of people don't like that because it scratches up their frame and they're kind of a wuss. So, you know what I mean? Whatever, you know what I mean? Dirt dusters are more manly grinds anyway, so not too many people do them because they're just so nuts. You're just floating on there. But like I was saying, what makes this frame so strong is the fact that it's got gussets top and bottom of the front end, and it's also got an invest casted chainstay on the rear. The gussets on the front are pretty cool because these are done properly. I think one of the brands back in the day was like T1. They designed something like this, but they basically didn't weld this right here, because when you weld it right here, what it does is it actually makes it weaker, because now this is kind of like a can opener and all the pressure's right here, and if you've melted it and if there's any weak spot in your actual weld, it'll actually crease that top tube a lot easier. So if you do a disaster or something like that, it's gonna break right here, because the weld not necessarily weakened it, but it's changed the molecules in the actual material. So that creates it to be more prone to damage. And that's just because once you change the molecules by heating it up and stuff like that, it actually, if it has one little spot that wasn't done right, or hey, Billy called Tom while he was welding, and Tom looked over and he just sat there a little bit longer and he got a little bit deeper or something like that, or didn't get it hot enough and he pushed it a little bit too fast, it'll make it weaker right there. So by not doing that, it creates it to be stronger and to hold up a little bit longer. On the same thing, they do it on the bottom, and super cool. But just so you know, is every frame breaks. What's up, dude?
Boys.
What?
It's okay.
Here, you want something to drink?
Okay.
Yeah. Here. Go watch your cartoons. We'll finish this video. That was my son Styles. He wanted this cup, so yeah, hooked him up. But I know a lot of people think that, because you're spending $350 on a frame, it's gonna last a long time. It should last forever. It's so expensive. Hey, an Xbox and a PlayStation are about $300-400. Does that thing last forever? No. So you're not even jumping off houses. You're not jumping off roofs. You're not doing any of that stuff with your Xbox and your PlayStation, and that thing doesn't hold up. So why should this thing? If you want your frame to last a lot longer, number one thing I think is don't abuse it. Don't throw your bike. Don't bail and throw your bike on purpose. Another thing is that I see a lot of people doing is they ghost ride their bike, maybe slam into a tree or a wall or something like that. What that's going to do is it's going to actually hit the front end, and it's going to bubble up the down tube right here or right here, and that's going to break that thing really fast. Some of you guys think you're slick by trying to get a warranty issue by doing that, but these guys ride. They've seen a million people do that. Don't try to warranty a frame that's done that, because they know that you ghost ride your whip. So that's one big thing. Another thing is that we always got this guy that's the disaster king, and he's always flying up, doing 180 bar spins, lands disaster, and he's doing tail up disaster, whatever to disaster to revert, everything. The reason why they call that a disaster is because it's naturally gonna break your frame. If you wanna break your frame, do disasters, because that is gonna break your frame. You got two wheels down here, and you got a wedge that's right in the middle, aka the quarter pipe, and you're 180, landing like this, and those two wheels are gonna keep rolling in the same direction that they're going, which this one's gonna roll this way, and this one's gonna roll this way, and it's just gonna pull that frame apart. So that's where you see the bubble on the top and you see the down tube broken. That's because you're doing a lot of disasters. So definitely try to keep the disasters to minimal. I know it's a super fun trick, it's super cool. It's not very scary, so just keep it to a minimum, because that will break your frame. And no, they probably won't warranty your frame because they know you're doing disasters. But this one, just having the gussets will help it out. So if you do disasters, this one will definitely last a little bit longer than most of the frames doing it. But like I said, frames will break even though you do disasters. Another cool thing on the rear end is that I said I had invest casted dropouts, and what it is it's pretty much how do you say, a bunch of metal chromoly thrown into like a mold, and then it's smashed into this mold, and it creates a one-piece dropout. And the one-piece dropout usually comes all the way to here and here, and it actually is perfectly made so that you can slide that custom tube right on there, and then you can weld it together up here rather than welding it right here where the spot's the weakest. A lot of old school frames, a lot of other American-made frames, stuff like that, they have a flat plate of steel that's laser cut out or stamped out or something like that. And then what they do is they actually like fit it to the tubing, and then they weld it together. What that kind of does, it makes it more prone to be able to snap there, because that's where the weld is. Same way I was talking about up here. If you weld up here, that is going to be more prone to breaking. What? You all done?
YouTube it.
Yeah? What are you doing? Go watch your cartoon and drink your cup. If you finish your cup, there's no more milk. So go watch your cartoons. Hurry up. Hurry up, because I'm almost done with this video, and then I'll help you out. Go on the other side then. You're not getting those right now. Yeah, he's growing up. He's almost 3 years old. He's starting to learn a lot of stuff. He's trying to give me a hug. Thank you. Go watch your cartoons. Go watch your cartoons. Go watch Super Y. Go check it out. Yep. Thank you. I'll be over there in a minute. Yeah, he comes to work with me every day. He's been coming here for, I'm going to say about 1.5 years. So I raise him and do a lot of these videos. I work on bikes. I pack and ship bikes. Help a lot of the customers, and all with him doing it here. So a lot of you guys that are complaining that you don't have time, you can't make this happen because you got a kid and you don't got money. I started this shop with $5,000, and actually it was $2,500, and then I sold my truck for another $2,500, and that's where I came up with $5,000. And I started this shop, and I've been pushing, and started off in one small shop, moved to another one, and now I'm here, and we continue to just keep pushing and just dealing what we have to do. Everybody in the world deals with all kinds of BS, and if you sit there and spend all your time complaining and saying, hey, this sucks, my life sucks, oh, you have this and you have that, oh, I can't be there and I can't be that, you're wasting all your time just talking about it. You should just forget about all that stuff and start doing stuff, because the faster and the earlier you start doing stuff, the faster you'll get to the point that you really want to be. Right now I'm dealing with a lot of stuff, and it's really, really hard, but at the same time, I know that the end is really near, and that's what I've been working at, and it's just right there. I'm super, super hyped because I started this, and I'm just there. Like, I'm right there, and the end is almost there, and it's not even the end, it's the beginning to a better future. So that's super, super cool. I couldn't even explain how much stuff I've dealt with him and my other 3 kids, and just all the stuff that I deal with, and following something that I love rather than just going to work for a paycheck. I can go work for anybody in the world, and I can make tons of money working for somebody else, but that's not where my heart is, and that's where I'm not going to fail at. I'm not going to get stuck in some job that I don't like. I'm going to do what I love. So if you have something that you love, go out there, do it, make it happen. Don't complain, just keep your head down and just keep pushing forward and make that stuff happen. But yeah, like I said, same thing that these guys do. These guys love making BMX bikes, so they made this invest casted dropout, and what they did is, like I said, they've casted it, put these up to, welded it up, they grinded it down, and that makes it super, super tough. Whereas the other dropouts, they're solid plate of steel chromoly, and then they're welded right here. And what happens is that when you ride pegs and stuff like that, and you, let's say, most of the time I've broken lots of frames. I've broken frames in like a month. I've never broken them in about a month and a half. One I broke in, I think it was 2 weeks. I broke the chainstay right here. I kinked another chainstay right here in about a week. I've been through so many frames just because I'm super rough on them, and I would say sometimes I abuse them. That's where I know a lot of this knowledge from. And some of the stuff I did take care of, and it wasn't even my fault. It was just a manufacturer defect, and that's why they have like warranties and stuff like that. But for the most part, the brands and the guys that are behind the companies making this stuff, they do a really good job. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. They're really helping you out by coming up with a lot of this design and stuff like that, and putting their heart and their soul and just making cool stuff for you guys. You guys are kids. Some of you young adults. You maybe live with your parents. Maybe do a basic job, or and some of you are CNC machinists and you guys get it. But the other guys, which is the majority of a BMXers, it's like a beginning sport and stuff like that. It's for youth and stuff like that. So we're not really educating you, and you really don't know a lot. And it's not your fault. That's just because us as BMXers, us as pros, as shop owners and stuff like that, none of the guys have the balls to actually tell you what's really going on. So that's why I'm doing it. I want to show you guys love. I want to show you guys how to better yourself and to respect other people and to keep doing this stuff, because you got to respect yourself first, and then you can start respecting other people. But definitely everybody's been killing it. A lot of cool stuff has been coming out, and I just want to give everybody props for doing that. Yeah, that's why those frames break. They're just welded right here, so it makes it a lot weaker, just like I said on here. Just having the weld right there, and when most of the time I've seen frames break is like when you hang up on a rail with your peg is like this, and it pulls it outside the dropout. And I know a lot of you guys have done this, so it pulls it out. But what it does is on the flip side, it actually bends this dropout over here, so it pulls it away like this, and it's just wrenching in here, and it actually snaps it right here because that's the weakest link. On these dropouts, it won't do that because there's no weld right here. It'll actually maybe break right here on the backside, but that's probably really hard because this tube is slid over the top of this one, and then it's welded together, so it makes it really tight fit. It doesn't really give it a lot of places to go, so that makes this thing super tough. I wish they had these back when I was younger riding. It probably saved me a lot of money, give me a lot more riding sessions. So very cool that they have invest casted dropouts. A lot of the other brands that we sell have invest casted dropouts, which is really cool. But yeah, that's what makes this frame super strong. These dropouts, these gussets in the front, 4130 chromoly throughout the whole thing. Welded, heat treated. Just got all the bells and whistles. That's what makes this frame $350. You get what you pay for, good quality stuff, but it's not gonna last forever. It's just a bike. You're doing crazy stuff on it. Just accept it. But another cool thing that this frame has is that it has these chain tensioners. I think this is a cool idea. To be honest with you, this is one of those things that I'm gonna kind of go against the grain. I know a lot of people talk about these and they like these. I'm gonna be the opposite. I'm gonna straight up tell you right now that I think these are pretty, how do you say, they jack up your bike. But sorry to say that, but I suggest not using stuff like this. It's a cool idea, but I think when you tighten these things up, it actually hits your threads of your dropout. Maybe if the axle didn't have any threads right there where it's set in the dropout, I think that'd be cool. But unfortunately, your axle has threads on it, and when you tighten this down, it actually pushes on the threads, especially if your bolts tighten down and you tighten this up, not knowing it, it actually will smash those threads. So when you actually take off those lock nuts, that thread is smashed and it just tears up your actual lock nut. So it tears up your lock nut, then your lock nut tears up the more threads on your axle, then your axle is pretty much done. I guess if the right way to do it, or anybody else that would do it, or what I would suggest, is possibly filing down the drop or the axle around where this is actually going to hit before you actually put that in. But those are just my feelings. If you want to check it out for yourself and you want to try to jack up your threads yourself, then try it. I think maybe it works a little bit better if you have the bolts loose all the time, but it's very hard to tell when that stuff is loose or not and stuff like that. So my luck and my skills and stuff like that, I've noticed that those threads tend to get jacked up no matter how loose it is. Sometimes we crank it down too much, or we crank this one down and it kicks this one sideways. So that's just my 2 cents. I think it's a cool idea. The execution is a little bit weird. Maybe we need to come up with something that could fix that. But besides that, like I said, you don't have to use that. So pretty much you can just avoid that, and that actually makes it lighter. So a good side to that. Yeah, this Stranger's pretty cool, or the Stranger frame's pretty cool. Connor Keaton came up with the graphics, and it's got the Detroit logo right there, which is kind of cool. It's got this cool orange and blue decal on here, and then it also has this Stranger badge piece on it. I'll pull it out right here so you guys can see it a little bit better. It's got this little badge on there, but that's pretty cool. You can slap it up on the front, give it a different feel. Looks pretty solid to me, but yeah. That's a Connor Keating signature Stranger Piston frame. Super cool. Like I said before, we're gonna tell you where you guys can buy this. You can buy it from our website at stackbmx.com, and this frame will fit any of the forks that we sell, any of the headsets, any of the cranks, any of the wheels, any of the seat posts. Pretty much all the parts on our website. You could actually buy individual parts and then slap them on here, and then you got a complete bike made out of full parts. A lot of you kids, you guys that want a complete bike that's as strong as the aftermarket frame and parts and stuff like that, you're never gonna get it. You gotta buy it piece by piece. It's gonna be way more. So if you're starting out, start off on a complete bike, and as you break things, upgrade and fix whatever you break or whatever you have money for, and slowly build your bike, because that's what we all did. It's not gonna happen overnight. There's no reason to spend $1,500 to $1,700 on a pro complete bike build if you're, can't even buddy hop up a curb. But start where you can and grow and keep on riding and keep on riding. Stuff will come. Don't get jealous because somebody's riding another thing. Don't let somebody get you down that's talking crap on you because you don't have the aftermarket frame or da-da-da. Just know that you'll get one soon, and just keep working at it and have fun and keep doing it. Support Stack BMX. Buy all your stuff from there. We make it easy for you. By supporting us and watching this video, we want to give back to you guys. So at 1,000 subscribers, I think we're about 50 till we hit 1,000 subscribers. So we're getting really close. If you haven't entered now, make sure you do. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Like this video right here. Share it if you have like a blog, or even if you have Instagram or something like that. Put in your bio, hey, this was cool. Check it out on my thing. Repost it off of our Instagram. Help us out. Like, let kids know that we have something cool going on and that it can help them out, because that's what it's about. We want to grow BMX. We want to inform other people, and we want to help our BMX community. And just if you guys could share it, that'd be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. Also too, make sure you turn on your notification bells, because every time I drop a new video, which is every day, and I've been doing some throwbacks from all the videos that I used to edit and stuff like that. I got heaps of videos that are already produced. I'm dropping them every day on my Instagram, which is Can't Stop LA, and then we're pushing them also to this YouTube channel. So you can watch them on the YouTube channel, or you can find out when I drop them on my Instagram. So follow me, check out these videos every day, and I'll keep posting stuff like that. And yeah, make sure that you comment in this video below, because if you comment in this video below, that's what's actually gonna enter you. Yeah, you gotta do all the other stuff, but commenting below will actually allow us to select you. If you just subscribe, you're not actually entered. So you got to do all above and comment below in every single video, because we're going to go through all the videos and we're going to pick a comment at random. And if that random comment is actually giving you some feedback or kind of saying something cool for BMX, we're going to select you. If it just says something weird, something not related, we're probably not going to select you, and I'll post that. But yeah, thanks for your support. Thanks for you guys watching this video. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We appreciate you. Have a good day. Oh, those are letters? Sick. All right, have a good day.